Hi, welcome to Family Favorite Smoothies Part 2. So I just did the smoothie that my parents submitted, the berry coconut. So now, they live in Michigan, so now we are gonna go across the country and we are going to do the smoothie that my sister, who lives in LA, submitted to us. So my sister lives right on the beach by Venice Beach, but she is an ICU nurse at LA County, and she the past couple of years she's seen a lot, and she is the one, she is now taking some nutrition classes and looking at getting into public health and nutrition and all kinds of things, but she's the one that got our whole family really started on the smoothie kick, and she is very into the vegetable side of this. So if you saw the first video, the one that I made that my parents submitted, very purple, pinkish, like kind of looks what my parents would say delicious. This is going to be green. It's so good for you. I like it because when I drink a green smoothie, I feel like, oh, I'm doing so much, even though other colors are good too. So with this one, instead of spinach, we're gonna start off with kale. So kale is it's a little bit rougher than spinach. It's got so many nutrients, but it has a little bit more of almost, I don't want to say bitter, but there's just like, you can tell that it's kale, where spinach kind of blends into the background, kale steps up front. So my dad would never use kale, but that's what we've got. And I bought a bunch and I just gave it a rough chop. So again, we just need 2 cups. So I just put it in my handy dandy little cup measure. So it's just about 2 cups. So we just take that, pop it in there, and it's just gonna fall to the bottom. And then instead of water or coconut milk, we're gonna use coconut juice. Now, I don't know if you can see in here, it's a little bit pink. The natural oxidation process of coconuts, this particular brand, it's cold filtered, very organic. They don't do anything to it. So coconut water can sometimes, the oxidation process, which is a totally fine process, nothing to be worried about. But if it's very organic and they're not touching it at all, it will turn a little bit pink. So it doesn't mean that it has a flavor. It's just a little bit on the pinkish side, which is fine. And this is going to be about 1 1/4 cup. So we'll just pour that in here. And coconut water, it's like nature's Gatorade. It's so hydrating. It's got all the electrolytes and the potassium, all the stuff that they add to Gatorade, but coconut water just has it by itself. So that's coconut water. So kale, coconut water, and then we put in, the recipe it calls for a 1/2 cup avocado, but basically I just use half an avocado. So you just kind of scoop it out of here. Avocado is like the best, healthiest fat. They're so good for you because your body needs fat, your body needs the healthy fiber that's in here. So you just get all that in there. I dropped a little piece. I know my counter's clean, so I'm gonna toss that in there. I also have found a little quick tip here for you. When you buy avocados at the grocery store, if they're a little bit hard, because you don't wanna buy mushy ones, there's like a little nubbiny type thing, like on the top, on the end of it, like where it hooks to the vine when it grows. If you flick that off and it's kind of greenish under there, then your avocado is going to be good in like a day or 2. So bring it home, put it in a paper bag, off you go. So we've got the kale, the coconut water, the ripe avocado, and this calls for 1 whole frozen banana, because as you've noticed, we don't have anything frozen in here. So right now it wouldn't be very smoothie-esque, and this one's not going to be. This one is by nature a little more runny. But when I freeze my bananas, I peel them, I break them in half, and I put them in a baggie. So I'm going to put a whole banana in this one. So just pop them on in there. So that's going to be the frozen part of it. And then to finish off this smoothie, we're going to keep it fresh with a little bit of lime juice. Now, I know my sister out there in California would probably get a lime and squeeze it, but I don't have an available lime tree. So lime juice from a bottle it is. And so the recipe just calls for 2 teaspoons. And the lime juice mixed with the coconut water is just really going to make it, I don't know if tropical is the right word, but kind of. It's really good. So that's all there is. Very low ingredient count on this one. And then my blender that will not blend until you hear that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit crush on this for a minute, get things going, and then I'm gonna blend it to get it down to where it's drinkable. So let's see how this goes with the crush part. And you can tell with this that it is much more of a smooth, thinner drink. So if you're making this and you don't want it to be quite so smooth, you can add in, they have actually, I saw it in Walmart, frozen kale. Like, you know how they have frozen chopped spinach? They have frozen kale if you want to pop that in instead of the fresh, or mix it with the fresh to give it a little more. If you wanted to, you could put ice in there, totally up to you. I would say go with the frozen kale instead, but I'm not put ice in it because I feel like ice dilutes it. But again, my opinion, smoothies really are do whatever the heck you want kind of things. We call them recipes, but really they're just kind of jumping off points. So I'm gonna blend this just a little bit more, and then we're gonna pour it out and give it a taste. Pop this off here, and then we've got a cup already handy. So if you notice, this is a lot thinner than the last one that we made, which is fine. Again, if you want it thicker, if you put in more frozen stuff, it's gonna be thicker. That's just kind of how it works. So let's give this a taste. The coconut water with the lime juice, it really brings out, like I said, almost like the tropical part of it. But then the kale, you really can taste the kale more than the spinach. So this may become an acquired taste. My dad would never, ever drink this, but I would probably put a straw in it and maybe put a little ice cubes, just like whole ones to keep it cold, and go sit outside on a summer day and drink this because it's very refreshing. So I hope you enjoy this. This is the Cali girl from my sister in California. So that was Family Favorite Smoothie Part 2, and hang on 2 seconds and we're gonna do Part 3.